So you're asking for moles to grams and molecules, right? So here, let's say this question here, we have 1 mole of CO2 and they're asking us to convert to grams, okay? So how many grams of CO2 are there? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at a periodic table, and underneath each element, which is like carbon or oxygen, there's going to be a number underneath each element. That's going to be called the atomic mass. And what you can do, you can take each one of those numbers and add them up together, and that's going to give you the amount of the molar mass, which is the amount in grams per mole, okay? And we're going to need this in order to convert to grams. It's like a baseline value that we're going to use to convert. So if we have 1 mole, we need to find the grams per mole of this in order to convert to grams. So carbon, if you look on the periodic table, it's 12.01. And then we have 1 of them, so there's only 1. Oxygen is 16, but there's 2 of them because the subscript means 2, right? So 12 plus 16 plus 16 equals 44. And this is, remember, grams per mole. When I say per, I mean it's on the bottom, like a fraction. So here it's saying convert moles to grams. So 1 mole CO2, we're going to multiply by the molar mass, which is grams per mole. And there's something called dimensional analysis, where things diagonally are going to cross out. So do you see how the top and bottom cross out? So now we can just multiply across, and then we're just left with grams, and that's how we find grams of CO2. Now, another thing you asked about molecules, let's say we take 2 grams of CO2 converted to atoms or molecules, it means the same thing. But you have to remember, in order to go from grams to molecules, you have to turn to moles first. Moles is like a middle ground. You always have to go this way, grams to moles to atoms, or you must go atoms, moles to grams. Depends on what they're asking you. So we have 2 grams here. We have to go to moles first before we can go to atoms, right? So we're going to multiply by moles. Where we want to go is always going to be on the top, right? And then the bottom is going to be the grams, because we have grams here and we want to cancel out, so grams is on the bottom, so this crosses out. Now we have moles of CO2. Now here's a number, 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd. This is a number you have to memorize. It's called Avogadro's number. You have to memorize this number and know the name Avogadro. So once you have moles, which is what we found here, we have 1 mole CO2, but remember to do this math right here, right? You're going to multiply by this number, Avogadro's number, and then remember the top and the bottom cancel out of the same stuff, and now you're left with units, or atoms. So 2 divided by 44 times 6 times 10 to the 23rd, this should be your answer in atoms. I hope that helps.